when I say emulate film and get really close to the real thing, just a Lightroom preset cannot do the thing. And I'm gonna explain why while exploring the DxO Film Pack 8. Actually, I'm quite impressed with this software because of a lot of stuff. And some stuff I'm not really that happy. When you open the software, you can also launch it from Lightroom, from Photoshop, but honestly, you can open directly the RAW. This is a big deal. You can open the RAW files directly on this software. Is amazing. It has this browser over here that I really hate, to be honest, but you can open the folder over there. Let's open this photo over here and let's explore the layout a little bit. You have save picture here, save the preset, and before and after, buttons. You have the zoom buttons. Now you can use the wheel. You have some basic editing tools and you have browsing, so you can flip to the other pictures as well. On the display here, you have the image preview and the histogram. Now I'm gonna ignore all of these. I just want to keep the tools over here. There is a lot to explore here. As you can see, if I go to filter, you have legacy films, digital. What I think it's really even cooler is the time machine and the time warp. Because DxO, c'est une entreprise française et le français, ils ont une tendance de respecter, de rappeler l'histoire de l'art, ok? On va pas oublier que les frères Lumière, c'était qui a développé et avancé beaucoup la photo, bien sûr. So let's press in time machine over here. You can go through history, through the years and see the style of pictures. This picture of Miguel over here is a portrait, so let's go to the portrait section over here and you can select the years. Let's go for example, the 30s, and you can see the history. You can waste a lot of time on this, okay? And you can just flip the image. And for example, I really like this style, okay? And you have the preset over here that the DxO team prepared for you. So you can actually click on it and see the effect directly on the picture. How cool is that? Also, you have the time warp. It's more a cinematic experience than anything else. Now, so this specific picture over here was also taken with film, okay? With the Portra 160. That means that I have the exact same settings, the exact same lens, both in digital and in film. Now that is a challenge for an emulation software, okay? This is Portra. Let's press here, search. This one over here. And when you click, the cool thing is that you have the description over here. If you don't want this slider to show up every single time, you can just not show the description, but I leave it on because it doesn't bother me and I really like to see the description actually. Let's see the film picture. And as you can see, is not exactly matching the picture. Now, there is a lot of factors in film. That means that it depends on the lab. Sometimes it even depends on the temperature of the chemicals to develop the film can actually change a lot of things. So fortunately, you have here customize, which you can control and adapt the emulation to fit your needs. And my objective here is how close can I get it to that image over there. Rendering is the Kodak Portra 160. You can increase the intensity and you also have other settings like grain. Now, Lightroom has grain and the presets adds the grain, but the grain changes on the film. Each film have a really different personality. An emulator preset on Lightroom won't work, okay? You really need this dedicated software to do as DxO is doing here. I already made my own preset over here. As you can see, it's pretty damn close. While I was playing with the film here, I have two complaints, okay? DxO, pay attention, tone curve. It's a very important tool on editing, but it's a nightmare to work with it. Imagine that I'm gonna add a point over here and I change it, okay? To the greens, I want to add a little bit magenta, so I'm gonna reduce the greens to add magenta, there you go. But I don't want that dot anymore. I can double click, nothing happens. I click and drag outside, no. There is nothing that I can do to remove this dot, except reset. But reset will delete every single edit that I did on the curve. That's not That's not what I want. Another thing that I would like to see is in graphical effects have film damage. Okay, now you have frame, awesome, but I would like to see film damage. Now you have a texture, but it's not the same thing. Add another section called film damage, it would be excellent. But what I really like is light leaks. Light leaks are really cool because accidental stuff on film, there is no recover. It's in there. The film is telling a history of the moment of the picture, then what happened to it over time, which is cool, okay? Light leaks are amazing, and I can even flip to the other. Oh, come on. It's really cool. I know what you are saying. Portra is not that difficult to emulate color-wise, and you are right. What isn't really easy to emulate is the finest grain Ektar 100. This thing is a nightmare. And let's see how DxO gonna go. Here is the film that I did, and here is the digital. Again, the exact same settings. Ignore the dust on the sensor. I switch a lot of times the lens, and yeah, it gets some dust on the sensor. Work with me, okay? Work with me. Let's go search Ektar 100. Honestly, the colors are not there. And like a cooking show, I already did my preset, and as you can see, boom, it's done. Now that I am taking a second look, the greens are not there yet. So let's go to customize. Let's go back to development, and let's go to hue. You see how precise can I be. Now, the film emulation is amazing, and it's modern tools, so I'm used to use them on professional software, so yeah. Now, one thing that you're gonna notice, it happens a lot on film, is that the vignetting is not perfect. As you can see here, you see that the vignette is more intense on the right than on the left. Now, you actually see that I emulated that. Lens effects, creative vignetting, and you have the center point. You can move the center point. I never saw a software with that option of vignetting. Yeah, you have masks on here, but why use masks if you can actually do after crop vignetting properly as so, okay? Well done, apply, cool. Now, creative vignetting is really cool, but filter is mind-boggling. And at the beginning I was a little bit, what? And then it clicked on my head. If I click on filter and add a filter over here, let's select, for example, a blue filter, the image goes like this. And now you are going like, what the hell is that? Let me explain, okay? I never see a software do this. In the olden days, the black and white photographers used color films in front of the lens to change the light a little bit on the picture, okay? So let's switch for black and white. I could use the button over here, but what is the fun on that? So let's go to presets and let's look for a film. For example, this one. Ilford 400, this is a black and white film. I didn't use it yet. Also a good thing, you can test your film on your style of photography before actually buying it. So let's go to customize and let's add a green filter, usually used to contrast the landscape. And you can see how her tones is really dark, contrasty. But if I switch for a red one, much better, okay? For portraits, usually you use red filter in front of the lens. Let's talk about price for a moment. Very cheap comparing with the competition, but also is yours. It's not a subscription and anything. Now, you can upgrade it if you want, and you can have 15% off with my promo code. Well then, the last film that we're gonna test, and it's a big fail, is Cinestill 800T. A T is for tungsten. Until now it was daylight film. This is tungsten film. And as you can see by the picture I did with the film, it has a lot of personality. I love to photograph with this film at night because it has a lot of personality. What can I say? And that's where DxO fails a little bit. So, a little bit, quite a lot. This film, you have the grain that is very pronounced, but also has this annihilation over here, exploding through the image. It has that reddish magenta thing exploding, what is really cool. So let's try to emulate that over here. Yeah, the green is getting there, the colors is not there yet, but very close. The texture is not that visible because this image needs a little bit more light, so you can see the texture a little bit better. But yeah, it's nailing everything over there. What is missing is annihilation. Annihilation is not there. The annihilation, it doesn't matter. You can see that it's not there. There is something missing there. And you don't have that option over here of annihilation. It should be there. Cinestill has a lot of personality. You need to have annihilation. So just as a comparison, I'm going to compare with another emulation, quite more expensive, to be honest, which is called the Enhancer Film. I already did a review like 2 years ago. There it is. You can see the annihilation over there. Now the color is completely off. Of course, I could edit this image in Camera Raw to try to match film annihilation. And as you can see, you have annihilation over here. You can really make it aggressive, way too much in this case. Now, the Enhancer Film is way more expensive, but it has that ability. Yeah, is that a deal breaker for you or not? Also, leave it on the comments if you want me to do a FilmPack versus the Enhancer comparison software, because the Enhancer is almost the double of the price of FilmPack. So yeah,